Everyone, peace and blessing. I hope everybody's there. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the live tonight. How you doing? Peace and blessings to everyone. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Hope everybody see me here. I know sometimes my live stream they kind of act up a little bit sometimes. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Anybody out there? What's up? What's up? What is going on? Hope everybody sees me. Joseph, what's up? I didn't think nobody saw me, man. What's happening, brother? How you doing? How you doing, sir? Good to see you. Let me see. Let me see how many people in the live so far. There's 3 people on the live so far. I'm just gonna wait till 4 more people come in. Hey, good to hear from you. Yeah, thank you, man. Oh man. Whew. Guys, let me tell you this. This has been a very rough week. I had outpatient surgery last Friday. I told you guys that I'm dealing with prostate cancer. And they did a procedure, an outpatient procedure they did on Friday. And I underestimate the pain that surgery was going to cause. And I'm gonna tell you something. I have never been in that much pain before. Everything went great when they did the surgery. Everything was cool. Everything was great. They took me in, sedate me, and everything. It was like a outpatient type of procedure, and everything went good. Went to the post-op. Everything. Hi, how you doing, Rosa? Everything was good. But man, let me tell you something. I felt good when I left the outpatient surgery center. They didn't do this procedure at a hospital. They did it at a outpatient procedure um, center. And when I left the outpatient, some places now they don't do surgeries in hospitals anymore. They do them at outpatient places now. Michigan Institute of Urology, they have their own. Well, anyway, I was feeling pretty good when I left out of there that Friday evening. My cousin picked me up and took me back home. But man, when it got into Friday, when they got into no, I'm sorry, when they got I had the surgery Friday, I'm sorry. When they got into Saturday evening, man, I was in so much pain. I couldn't urinate. I was blocked. It was crazy. It was crazy. Yo, what's up, Mike? With you? What's up? Yeah, it was crazy, man. I was that pain was like unbelievable. I couldn't urinate. And then I was having bladder spasms. I mean, the spasms was the worst I had ever felt. I stayed in bed all of Saturday. I could barely walk around the house. I could barely like feed myself. It was bad. I came this close on Saturday night. It got worse. Panda, how you doing? Saturday night, it got much worse. And I thought I was going to have to go to urgent care, go to the actual hospital. Because I was stopped up. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. The worst pain to have is not being able to urinate. It's worse than being constipated. Because everything in your pelvis, everything hurts. So what I had to do to relieve the pain and to relieve the pressure on my bladder, I had to catheterize myself. I got these straight catheters that I use. Because sometimes I don't urinate, I don't empty the bladder like the way I'm supposed to. And if it wasn't for those, I would really been in trouble. And I was just using those one after another. I thought I was going to use up my whole entire supply. Let's see. Yeah, prostate. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Prostate. Yes, I was diagnosed with prostate cancer early this year. But the good news. If any of you guys coming in, please hit that like and subscribe for me, please. That help the channel out too. Um, the good news is that they caught the prostate cancer very early stages. Yeah, I got treated. I had a procedure. It's called prostate embolization. Prostate embolization is when they go in. It's done through a procedure called interventional radiology. What they do is they take you in, they sedate you, and they take a catheter, they go to the main artery where, either the femoral or the brachial artery. And they run a special line that go all the way down to your pelvis where the prostate is. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to shrink my prostate is very large. It's very large. So with the first treatment, what they're trying to do is they're trying to shrink the prostate. Okay, this procedure is going to shrink the prostate, but I won't see no effects of it probably until within a month or so. You know. But the good news is when I had the MRI and the CAT scan, they they didn't see any tumors, they didn't see anything there, but my PSA came back elevated. What they do is they do a test called a PSA, prostate specific antibody. Okay. And they noticed that the prostate levels were going up and up and up and up. So the urologist came back and he said, right, with the early phase, I should be fine. And it kept going up. So the urologist came back. He said, Mr. Matthews, he said that your PSA levels are very high. We need to do a biopsy. So I had to go in. They did that at the hospital, not at the outpatient center. They did that procedure, and they put you to sleep. They had to put me to sleep. So what they do is they take you into the OR, they put you to sleep, and they put you in these stirrups. And what they do is they go through the rectum. And what they do is they just take multiple biopsies from different areas of the prostate gland. And they send it down to pathology. That's what they do. Okay. So I talked to my urologist and he said, oh, this probably ain't nothing. We just want to make for sure, make sure everything. Now, don't forget the CAT scan, the MRI didn't show anything. It didn't show any disease at all. It didn't show no disease. Okay. So about 2 days later, after they did the procedure, I didn't feel too bad. It wasn't as bad as the procedure I just had. I was still a little sore, blood in the urine, stuff like that. It wasn't like real bad after that. So 2 days later, I get a phone call from the urology place, okay? And it was the doctor. He called me back on the phone. He said, Tony, he said the biopsies came back positive for adenocarcinoma. So they did like 12 cores. He did like 12 cores. Out of six came back positive. I said, okay. I was like, wow, okay. So he said, you do have prostate cancer, you know, and they confirm it to a pathologist. So what they're doing is, I said, okay, well, let's do the embolization procedure. We can shrink the prostate down, you know what I'm saying? And maybe hopefully by starving the prostate of blood, maybe that could kill off the cancer cells. And then they could come back and they're gonna do matter of fact, they called me. Yes, you gotta be a warrior, man. Yes, yes. I thank you guys for praying for me. Thank you guys for praying for me. I believe in prayer, man. Prayer is the key, brother. Prayer is the key. So they just called me yesterday. They want to do a test. It's called a PET scan. I don't know if you all ever heard of that, but that's like one of the most detailed cancer screening that you could basically get. It doesn't miss nothing. If you have any type of cancer in your body, that PET scan is going to find it where it is. So they got me scheduled for that, but it's not the surgery. I go into radiology and they're going to start an IV, and then they're going to inject, contrast, so they can be able to see where the cancer is. Yeah, right, good. Yeah, right. It will glow. Oh, the glow. Absolutely. Yep. Yep. So that's what they're going to do next. But guys, I'm going to tell you, boy, I was in so much pain. It hurt so bad. That was the worst pain ever. It was terrible. I couldn't even walk. It was so bad. Oh, good. Your mom have lung cancer. Oh, good. Yeah. Yeah. The most best thing is when they catch it early. Most cancers are 100% treatable. I work in the medical field. Most of you probably know that. Most cancers are, if they call early, they are 100% treatable. Like colon cancer, if you catch it early, is 100% treatable. But the thing is, you gotta go for checkups. You gotta see a doctor on a regular. I see doctors all the time. I mean, I'm pretty after other than the prostate issue, I'm a very healthy person. I do what they tell me to do. I take my medication. I do what they tell me to do. I go. I at least see them like every. I see doctors. Oh my gosh, at least once a month, twice a month, sometimes every month. Like I got an appointment coming up in a couple of weeks with the urologist. As a matter of fact, I went to go see my primary care physician yesterday, and she prescribed some more pain medication. I told her I was in so much pain, so they gave me the steroids. Let me see here. So, because I have cancer, they give me about a year, and I appreciate the life one day. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You do appreciate life, man. When they give you that cancer diagnosis, it's like it's it hits you, especially when the doctor calls you after the hour. When they call, usually when you get a call after hours from your physician, like not doing working hours, you know something is up. You know something. They want to tell you something. No, no, I don't have any kids. No, no, no kids. No kids. One day I wanted to have kids. That's why I know people were telling me, so why don't you just get the prostate removed and get it taken out? Because I went to a second opinion. I went to a second opinion during the summertime, and they wanted to do a robotic radical prostatectomy. We got in Detroit. We have a lot of hospitals. And one thing Detroit is really known for is having lots of pretty good hospitals. We got the Carmonas Cancer Institute, we got U of M, we got Henry Ford, we got a lot of um, great hospitals here in Detroit, in Michigan especially. Yeah, I'm doing okay. Yeah, my people has been very, very, very helpful. Um, but the cancer is not bad though. That's the thing. It didn't. It's not spreading. It's not like I'm going to die tomorrow or um, they didn't give me a um, grim news or anything like that. Um, so they treating it right away. It's in a very, very, like I say, in the MRI, the CAT scan did not show any disease on the prostate. It's like when they did the CAT scan, MRI, it was basically normal. They didn't see nothing there. But the pathology result is the one that came back positive. So the cancer is so small, it's like in a cellular level. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Sean. Thank you. Thank you very much, guys. I am blessed, man. God has been great. But I just want to tell you that procedure I had Friday, oh my God. I hope I never have to go through that again. The pain it was just so great. I mean, I was in so much pain that I'm just like, and it happens in spasms. I don't know if you ever dealt with spasms before. I had to put like a towel in my mouth and bite down. It was just so hard. And the Motrin, I was taking Motrin, I was taking anti-inflammatories. They put me on like prednisone. I was taking that, and I was taking an antibiotic also. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let me tell you something. They made a lot of advancements in prostate cancer now. It's not a death sentence anymore. Even if it leaves the prostate, if it's like I have what you call what is the name of that? It's confined within the prostate, regional prostate cancer. But even if I would have got some really bad news of the prostate spreading outside of the prostate, they still got a lot of good treatment. But the two is you got to get to it early. You can't put it off. That's the thing. Because once the prostate, once cancer, see the danger thing about cancer is that once it spreads into the lymphatic system, because you have lymph nodes in your legs and your thighs. You have them in your axillary region. If the cancer spreads into the lymphatic system, that's when you got problems. That's when it gonna start spreading to other organs and other places, and that's when you're really in trouble there. Let's see, it's true. Okay. Yes, we do. Yes, African American men. Yes, African American men has the largest rate of prostate cancer. Yeah, we're at higher risk than anybody else from prostate cancer. Yes, that is absolutely true. So if you are a male that's listening to me on this channel, if you have prostate cancer in your family, if somebody in your family have died of prostate cancer, I will start getting PSAs at the age of 30. Okay? At the age of 30. And start seeing your doctor and get a PSA and start having rectal exam. They do. I know a lot of men don't like it, but they do those rectal. That's why they do those rectal exams. When they stick the club in the rectum when they make you bend, they're checking the prostate. I know a lot of men hate that. Yeah, metastasis, right, right, absolutely. Yeah, metastasis, right. That's what it's called. And you have a prostate exam should be done like at least every year, every year. And then there's something else I want to tell you. There's another disease that messes with the prostate. Most men deal with this, and a lot of men don't even know about this. It's called BPH, benign prostate hypertrophy. Okay? Let me tell you this. Every last one of you all men on this live, every last one of you guys on this live, at some point in your life, your prostate will enlarge. Your prostate is going to enlarge. So what you're going to notice, especially when you get into your 40s, now some people everybody's different because I don't know if you all know what the prostate is, but it's like a size of a walnut, and it sits right under the bladder. And what the prostate does, it creates semen. It creates semen. So doing sexual, when you're having sex, when you ejaculate, when the fluid that comes out the penis, that comes from the prostate. And one thing you are going to notice when you get older, I'm telling you this as an OG, when you start tapping around 40, you're going to start going to the bathroom and you'll notice like the urine is not coming out like strong like it should be. You'd be like, you're like, man, you're dribbling and it's not coming out. Then you're going to notice another thing, another symptom is that you'll have frequent trips to the bathroom. That drives you crazy. That drives you crazy. And it usually happens at night. Before you go to bed, you go to the bathroom, you urinate, you get back in bed again, 2 more hours later, or maybe 2.5 hours later, you gotta go again. You wake up, you get out of the bed, go to the bathroom, then you go back, try to go back to sleep again, 2 or 3 more hours. It's happening again. So you're not really getting sleep. It's interrupting your sleep, your rest, because you're making frequent trips to the bathroom. And mine was real bad. Oh my God, mine was so bad. My prostate symptoms were so bad. I don't know if I should tell you all this, but my prostate symptoms were so bad And just sometimes when I would drive, I would have to bring a container with me to put it in my car. Because if I'm going to the store or something like that, sometimes I wouldn't make it to the store without having to go to the bathroom. And that's when I really find out about how large my prostate was. So they started treating me for the BP. It's called benign prostate hypertrophy, BPH. And they can treat that. They have ways how they can treat BPH too. They got a medication called Flomax you could take. Um, they got different procedures you can go. It's called your urolift procedure, in which they go in and they pull the prostate apart. They kind of like push it away from each other because you have the left and right side of the prostate. And what happens is the prostate grows so much till it clamps down on a canal called the urethra, which goes up into the bladder. When you empty your bladder of urine, it has to go through the urethra and between the prostate. No, 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 Gordon. I didn't have no record of diabetes or anything. No, no. I do have hypertension. Yes, I do have that, and I do take one pill a day to curb my hypertension. I do have that, but I don't have diabetes or anything like that. Yeah, you said like a valve, right? Absolutely, Gordon. Right. Yes, every man. Yep, yep, yep. And that's caused BPH is caused by testosterone. It's a male hormone that causes the prostate to keep growing and growing and growing and growing. But I don't want my prostate taken. There have been people who have recommended me. They said, "Why don't you just have it taken out? Let's have the robotic surgery, and you don't have to worry about it anymore." But the thing is, if they take your prostate out, I mean, if you have to have it taken out because of cancer, then you have to do what you have to do. I'm not saying in any circumstances not to have it taken out, but there are some side effects of when they remove your prostate. One of them is erectile dysfunction. Um, some people describe they're not able to get an erection anymore. Um, there's another one too. Also, it causes you're not going to be able to um, have ejaculations. You ejaculate, but it'd be a dry ejaculation, no fluid to come out. So it's a real big it's a real big change on lifestyle. And also another side effect of having your prostate removed. Um, let me see, incontinence, in which you can't hold your urine, so you may have to wear a diaper. You know, so it does come with some disadvantages. You know what I'm saying? Let me see how many people we got. Okay, make sure y'all hit that like button, like and subscribe to the channel. Appreciate it. I appreciate it. But right now, I feel better. I feel good. I'm not in pain. I took a Motrin today. I took my antibiotic. I finished off my um, the steroid, the prednisone that they had me on, the anti-inflammatory. So I'm feeling good. I'm going back to work tomorrow. So I'm able to go back to work. They kept me off of work. I couldn't work. Couldn't go to work. No, never had a stroke. No. I know you probably listen to it. I have some things going on with me, but no, my voice is caused by something else. That's a whole Gordon. It's a whole different story about my voice. How I got this. Matter of fact, Gordon, check out my video. It's on my playlist. It's called "The Night I Woke Up and My Voice Disappeared," and I explain everything what happened to me. Okay. You said when I'm going back to Colombia, I'm gonna be honest with you. I would really love to go to the carnival, man. I would really love to go to the carnival, man. The Barranquilla Carnival. That's in February. But the latest I'll probably be back in Colombia will be in May, for sure in May, because I gotta go see Cookie. I really miss her. And let me tell you about her. Let me tell you about this woman in Medellin, Cookie. When I was going through this with my prostate, when I had my surgery, she has been super, super, super supportive. She has been very supportive of me when I had this last procedure I had with my prostate when I was in pain. She checked on me every like 2 or 3 times a day. Are you okay? And she felt bad. She said, man, I'm not there with you. I wish I could be there with you. You be here with me. That's a good that if I ever thought about being in a relationship with a Colombian girl from Medellin, she would probably be the one. She would probably be the one. Let me see. Speaking of Colombia, they just had an event of December. DC Bomber made a video of it. They had lots of cops present. Wow, wow. I know they have a lot of holidays in December. Matter of fact, Cookie told me they had like a candle lighting ceremony. And I told her to please light a candle for me. I said, please light one for me. She lit one for me. But she has been really, really, really supportive. I mean, I talked to her this morning. I talked to her yesterday. And one thing I like about her that makes her different than most of all the other women I met in Colombia, she has not one time asked for money. Not at all. Not one time. Since I've been back from Colombia, I was in Colombia in September. I was with her. Y'all seen the video? Check out my YouTube shorts. I have videos of her. Okay, and I have a stream of her on my live streams. But she has never ever asked for anything. Never, never asked for a dime. All the time I was sick, she never asked for anything. Yeah. I could say yeah, because what I just went through that shows her true colors. Because I've been in relationships. I'm sorry, this is really what pisses me off. I have been in relationships. Okay, I have been in relationships. Even when I'm sick, you got females that's asking you for money. Oh, by the way, can you send me a 20? Would that be too bad for you? Can you send me a 10? You send me a 10? I mean, there have been times that I've came back and had surgery. I got a Foley catheter in my bladder. I'm in pain. And the so-called female that I'm talking to, I said, look at this Foley catheter. It's full of blood. I just had surgery. And you still asking for money? I'm like, nope, nope. But Cookie, nope. She has been completely the opposite. I don't know, Marcus. That would be her because me, Miss G, we wasn't together that long like me and Cookie is. So it'd be hard to say. But so far, Cookie has been the best. She's been the best. And she really showed her true colors when I was going through what I went through this weekend. This weekend was rough. It was very bad. I have never in my life being in that much pain. I would walk around. I'm walking around the house just holding my hands like this because I know those spasms was getting ready to come. And then when those spasms get ready to come, you have to brace yourself. You have to brace yourself. You'd be like this, like your whole body shaking because the pain was that bad, you know. But she kept calling me. She kept calling me. You know what I'm saying? She texted me like, "Are you okay? You doing okay? It's gonna be all right. You're gonna get through this. You're gonna be all right." She was extremely, extremely supportive, very supportive. Yep, she was very supportive. Let me see what else she said, Marcus. Could you say cookies better than Barracuda? Okay, we did that one. She said, if you had to choose cookie for a romance story, what would you get away with Esther? Yeah. Um, Esther was a good. Esther, she was good. Esther was good, but she was very needy. And sometimes you find women over there that's like that. You know what I'm saying? When they think that you're from the states, when they think that you're from from the U.S., that you're American, they think you're rich. They think money fall out of trees. And Esther used to ask for money too. Matter of fact, when I left Colombia after I saw her, as soon as I got back within 2 days, she was asking for money. And a lot of it. We ain't talking about 20 $25 or 30 or $100. She was talking about that her daughter needed money to be paid for her tuition fee for college. And she wanted me to pay $1,000 US dollars. Let me see. No, you're not disrespecting Marcus. You cool. Oh, no, Tony, no disrespect. I mean, the girl from back here, you let get away. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, yeah. That's what I'm saying. We really wasn't together that long. So I really, but from the short time that we were together, I mean, she was wonderful. She was wonderful. But will I say that Cookie is better than her? It would be hard to say because I'm giving Cookie a little bit more because I've been knowing Cookie a little bit more extended time than I did with Miss G. Okay, if I made a choice between Marcus, if I made a choice between Miss G and Cookie, it would be Cookie. I'm gonna put it like that because Cookie has been there on the really downside of everything what I'm going through. I never experienced that with Miss G. I don't know how Miss G will react of me being down, sick, ill. You know what I'm saying? And let me tell you something, guys, on this live chat. That's when you know the real, true colors is when you go through things. That's how you know a woman's real, true colors, and that's what we get ready to get into tonight. I'm going to tell you guys a story about a guy. He met a Filipino female, and she was just a complete, just a liar, basically. And I'm not saying all the women in the Philippines are that way. No, they're not. They're not. But unfortunately, you have some that they're only in it for the money. You know. Let me see. I'm not G. I'm not talking about. You got away with. Yeah, I know which one you talk about, Marcus. Marcus, I know who you're talking about. I know you're talking about the one that I showed the picture of me and her together. Yes. If I had to make a choice between her and Cookie, it would be Cookie. Because, like I said, I never experienced any crises with Miss G. Well, I'm not. I know what you're talking about, but with the girl I took the picture with, the young lady at the romance store. Right, right. But with Cookie, we spent our whole time in Colombia while we were there, and then even after I leave Medellin, we are still talking to each other. You know what I'm saying? We still talk to each other. We still communicate. And when I had the episode with the surgery, she was right there with me, and she kept calling, just checking, making sure I was okay. She said, "We're praying for you, my mom and everybody. We're praying for you," and she's never asked for a dime, even before this. She's never asked for a dime, never. She's never called me and said, "Oh, oh, my mom is sick and the kids are sick and the dog needs to go to the vet and I got a hole in the roof. I got this." No, no, she's never done that. Not one time. Let's see how many people we got in here. Oh, we got 6 people. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna get to this story and we can move on. Let's see here. So I can pull it up. Okay. Let's see, the way the Colombians go about their opportunities the wrong way, and foreigners need to have a backbone to walk away and be careful for single mothers do now due to the. Yeah, you gotta be careful with mothers. Yeah, single mothers. Yes, because they got a law now. Um, if you are dating, and guys, I hope you guys listening to this. This is very important. They have a new law, or it's been around for a minute. This is what a lawyer told me. And this happened in some states. If you're dating a female and she has children, okay, she has kids. I'm not for sure if they do this in Colombia or other countries or not, but I know that they do this here in the States. Certain states do. I'm not for sure which ones, but what happens is if you are in a relationship with a female and she has children, if you're spending nights at that house, if you're around those kids, if you're taking on any type of parental responsibilities, like taking them to school, providing, food and stuff in the house, paying bills with this female, with the children. If something would happen between you and the female, and if she has receipts that you've been that if she has receipts that you played a supportive role in that house and you all break up, she can still come after you for child support. That's true. And if she has the receipts to back it up. So be very, very, very careful. Let's see. All right, in this story I'm going to tell you, it was a guy in the Philippines, this elderly guy. Well, I don't know if he's elderly, but he's a retiree. He met a female housekeeper. He left the States, he went to the Philippines, and he got a housekeeper that he ended up falling for, and he made a really big mistake. And I got something I want to tell. Oh, Bruce, how you doing? Say single mothers are difficult to date On the other side, at least they are not running the streets most of the time because they have kids. Yeah, that's true. I'm not, you know what, I'm not, me personally, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with dating women with children. I've done it many of times. It never worked out, but I've done it. I've done it, but I'm just saying, just be careful. Protect your assets. That's all I'm saying. Because now they got that new law that if you're living with a woman with children, and you don't necessarily have to be their biological father, if you're seeing the mother and you taking some guys, they date these women and they become close with the kids, take the kids out, spending time with the family, doing family things and all that type of stuff. And for some reason, the relationship didn't work out. If that woman have receipts that you've been paying bills in that house, you know what I'm saying, and you've been like a parent to those kids, and you've been coming around, taking them to school and all that stuff, she can come after you for child support. It happened. I know somebody that went through this. Let me see the process. Let's see. The Colombian DC Morab and attorney on the other night said you can only be considered a stepdad if y'all are married or have lived together for 2 years. Yeah, but every state is different. I'm not for sure which how the law is in each state, but I do know that you could be paying child support to kids that's not even yours. If she has two kids, you've been one thing. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something. One thing I thank God. I thank God for, and I love children. I love children. Okay. If you want to date a woman with children, that's great. But I thank God I never had to deal with no child support. I thank God I never ever had to deal with any type of child support. That family, every man I know that went through that child support drama, it was horrible. It was horrible. Look at Tyrese, what he went through. His baby mamas was always on him all the time. He never got a break. I think he finally getting some rest now. But they would just keep. It was the same woman, and he was a good father. He had a daughter by this woman. He was a good father. He provided for her. Come see her, take her out. He was a dad to his daughter. And it still wasn't good enough. She wanted more. Kept taking him to court more and more and more and more and more and more. He's like, what more can I do? He just broke down. And he said, what more can I do? I am a good father. I take care of my kids. And when his child sees him, she calls him dad. Sometimes you can have a very bad woman that will make it very difficult for you. I couldn't, right now, at this stage of my, I can't afford no child support payments coming on my check. And this goes on for the next 18 to 20 years. That's why, guys, that's why I do these lives. To try to put some sense in y'all head. Be careful. Be careful who you put your Jimmy in, man. There's another guy, too, that's having problems. Family Matters. What's his name? The guy that plays on Family Matters. They got him locked up here in Michigan, where they locked him up, but they arrested him for not paying child support. No, not the other guy. Um, what is his name? Hold on, let me find out. Just 1 second. No, not Urkel, the dark skinned guy. Um, I really feel bad for him. Yeah, let me find out. Family star. Hold on, let me see. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna get it right now. Oh man, dog it. Doggone freaking yeah, Eddie Winslow. Yeah. Eddie Winslow. Yep. Eddie Winslow. Yep. They arrested him a while back, and they arrested him. He's here in Michigan. Matter of fact, he owes somebody here in Michigan. So they let him. Yep, Eddie Winslow. Yep, his name is Darius McCray, released from custody amid no contest. Family Matters Darius McCray has been released from custody in Michigan after entering no contest plea. Let me see. Let me read the rest of this. Let me tell you his story. Family Matters star Darius McCarthy released from custody amid no contest plea following October. He was arrested in October. Okay? They said the actor was initially arrested on October the 5th while crossing borders from Mexico into the United States due to out-of-state felony warrant that stemmed from missed court appearances, from not paying child support. Yep, from not paying child support. And he owes $75,000. Matter of fact, his sentencing is coming up pretty soon. They say if convicted, he could do 4 years in prison. Child support. And the female that's suing him don't care. Yeah. Child support. If you miss court appearances and don't pay child support, yeah, it becomes a felony. And you can actually do time. One thing, you know what, one thing I notice about the government, sometimes they may overlook a whole lot of other stuff, but don't mess with their money. Like the IRS, don't mess with their money. You could do a whole lot of crazy other things, but do not mess with their money. If you don't pay taxes, they will come after you, and you can do time in jail. Like Wesley Snipes, look at him. They don't care. They don't care. I know what you say. I said the guy is already down. I mean, how down can you get? You know what I'm saying? He's way down. I don't think he has a pot to piss in. Where is he going to get $75,000 from? But they don't care. IRS don't care too. I heard them doing some really bad stuff, man. I don't know if y'all remember Sanford and Son. I remember that. That's an old school show. Lamont and Fred G. Sanford, Red Fox. He ended up not paying taxes. IRS came and took everything. Eddie Murphy had to help him out. And you know, when he passed away, when Red Fox passed away, I think Eddie Murphy had to pay for the funeral. He didn't have no money. Yeah, you used to watch Sanford and Son too. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yep, they don't play, man. And when the state of Michigan said, "Hey, you owe $75,000," because usually child support comes through, is paid through through the state, and then they give some of the money to the wife, I mean to the girlfriend or whoever. But I thank God I never had to deal with no child support, man. I thank God I never had to do that. I used the withdrawal method every single time. I'm not saying that's a reliable time, but I've been with females in the past. I'm just telling y'all this from my OG, from my past. I've been with females in the past that tried to get pregnant, that tried it purposely. Yes, I know a guy. I remember a guy, and I'm gonna tell you this. Then we're gonna get to the real story. Wow, I didn't mean to take this long. I remember one time. This was the biggest deterrent of being responsible. Okay, this is the biggest deterrent of me being responsible. One time I was working at my job, and it was this guy I was working with. Real cool brother, cool bro. And I think he had about 4 or 5 baby mamas. I think that's what he had. And I remember one day I was walking out and I saw him, and he looked terrible, depressed, hair all messed up, just looked like he just looked like a complete mess, just a complete mess. And I walked up to him and I said, "Man, what's going on with you? What's happening? What's up?" He looked kind of down. He said, "Man, you're not going to believe this. After I just got paid, I had to pay child support on 3 baby mamas." I said, "Well, how much money you got left in your paycheck? How much you got left over?" It blew my mind. He only had $65 after they took out taxes and after they took out that child support. I was like, wow. That was back then. He said, "This is more out of entitlement because the child support money don't even go to the child. It's for women. Women don't." Yeah, of course. Of course. It doesn't go to the child. They get their hairs and their nails done, and yep. I know a lot of guys I know some men that took care of their kids and still had to pay child support. And the money that they was giving the woman, most of the money didn't even go towards the child. I know one guy was paying child support, and he still had to take his daughter to go get a coat, a winter coat. Mom said she didn't have the money to buy a winter coat. What you mean you don't have no money to buy a winter coat when I'm sending you child support every 2 weeks? But that's what they go through. Okay, we're gonna get to this other story. Okay. Sorry about this. In this story, what happens is, okay, let me see. I keep jumping. Let me see. I went to the child support office before my kid's mom could file the case. She was pissed off because she lost control. Let me see. I went to the child support office before my kid's mom could. Oh, good. Before the case first. Yeah. Yeah. So you must have ownership over the kids. Okay, yeah. Lucky you did it, brother. Lucky you did it. And you know what? One thing I think is unfair. One thing I think is very unfair is that if the man is paying is a good father to the kids and he's doing what he's supposed to do, he shouldn't have to pay child support. Now, if you're a deadbeat dad, you know what I'm saying, you don't take care of your kids, you don't do nothing for your kids, then that's different. But the problem is that these women has weaponized the system against us. You know what I'm saying? So you can still there's men out there that are good fathers, but they still have to pay child support. I mean, even though they're taking care of their kids and doing what they're supposed to do, but they're still being punished, which I think is not fair. But the part I think is really not fair is that if you are in a relationship with a woman with kids that's not yours, if she has receipts on you that you've been like a father figure with those kids and you've been around the house and you've been buying groceries and food and providing for that family, yes, she can file child support against you and not even the actual father. Yeah, they do. Yeah, they use it as pawn. So guys, before you get with that female, you better think about it. You better think about it. Okay, we're gonna get into this other subject right quick, and there's two advices I want to give you before we get into this other subject about the guy that was scammed out of $300,000 in the Philippines by a 24-year-old girl. Let me give you guys some advice, the ones that travel, okay? The expat, okay? Before you decide to live into a foreign country, visit that country first. Because I noticed the biggest mistake that foreigners make, they go to these countries, but they go to these countries to retire and live there, but they've never been there before. They get on the internet and they look at Thailand, they look at Malaysia, they look at all these. Oh, that's a good place to retire at, and look at all these pretty beautiful girls. Oh, the Philippines, yeah. Look at these beautiful girls and everything. Yep, I'm going. And what they do is this is what they do. They sell everything. They sell their house. They cash in their retirement and everything. They get their suitcases and they're off to that country. Never been there before. Yeah, they can be sneaky. Absolutely, Bruce. We can already talk about that. Yeah, absolutely, Bruce. Yeah, they're very sneaky. Yeah, but they just be right off. Oh, I'm going right to the Philippines. I'm going to retire there. Yeah. They're looking at everything on the internet, I mean, these people, they sell their houses. They liquidate everything, put everything in the bank or whatever, and they shoot down to Thailand or to the Philippines. Okay? I would suggest first, before you just visit the country first. Go down there for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Always decide first if this is the place that I want to live. You know what I'm saying? Decide first, is that the place that I want to be first before you go down there and live? You know what I'm saying? But they just jump so fast. They just go and everything, and they don't even know nothing about the country, the language, or anything, and they get themselves in trouble. Number two, this is very important. This is very important, guys. I'm going to tell you to remember this. Do not. I hope everybody listens to what I'm getting ready to tell you. This is very important news and important information I'm getting ready to give you all. Do not, do not, do not, do not reveal your financial information to nobody. Never do that. Never tell no broad how much money that you make, what you got, what you own. These guys are going into these countries and they're getting with these girls. He said, "Oh, I can afford a restaurant. I got $50,000 in my account. Oh yeah, we should be able to afford, maybe be able to afford a house for $100,000. Oh yeah." You telling somebody that you don't even know how much money you got? Because in some of these countries, I'm not saying these are bad people. Everybody's bad. I'm not saying everybody's bad. But some of these countries have militias in them. And if you talk to the wrong people, revealing your financial information, they can kidnap you. I'm just glad a lot of these expats that's going into these places, so far I haven't heard anything like that happening, of people getting kidnapped like that. But it does happen. I talked to a retired FBI agent. If you visit Brazil, Colombia, any type of country, and you're engaging in a female that you don't know, keep your personal business to yourself. Do not tell her where you work, how much you work, what you got, what you can afford. That is none of their business. Okay? You say, I don't understand when people come and says where they come from, but all of a sudden they get, I don't know either to the other, get so relaxed in a different country, like in your country, it's not in your destination. I don't understand too, Marcus. I don't understand. It's like they drop all their defenses. Because these people could do serious harm to you, man. Because some of these places have paramilitary groups, and they make money from extortion by kidnapping people. There's some African countries that this happens in. When I travel abroad, I'm poor. I got empty pockets. I have nothing. I say I got a couple of dollars in my pocket. It's just a warning. Okay, we're gonna get to this story of this retiree. He fell for his housekeeper, which was a very not good mistake. But we're gonna get into the story and then I'm gonna comment on it. Okay, so listen to this.
Empty like she'd never existed. The floral bed sheets I'd bought her last month, gone. The pink slippers by the bathroom door, gone. Even the stupid Hello Kitty magnet she'd stuck on my fridge with a photo of us at Tagaytay, gone. All that remained was a single hair tie on the kitchen counter, and the smell of her jasmine shampoo still hanging in the air like a ghost. I stood there for maybe 10 minutes just staring at that hair tie, doing the math in my head for the 100th time a week. $450,000 when I landed in Manila 18 months ago. $110,000 left in my account this morning. All these happened because of a 24-year-old maid I hired off a Facebook group, who used to call me sir, and now probably doesn't give two about me. Okay, let's pause it right there. Welcome back to Journals Beyond Horizons. Today's story comes from Rio, 68 years old, retired construction supervisor from Nevada, and a man who thought he'd learned every hard lesson life had to offer. He survived a near-fatal car accident that left him dependent on others for months. He survived watching his wife walk out when his recovery took too long. He survived rebuilding his life from scratch, alone, with nothing but grit and a pension check. What he didn't survive, the slow, quiet erosion of trust that happens when loneliness meets opportunity, when a kind smile becomes a business strategy, when helping turns into taking so gradually you don't notice until there's nothing left to take. This isn't a story about a scam. There were no fake emergencies, no forged documents, no dramatic betrayals, just a maid who saw an opening and a man who mistook convenience for connection. Without saying much, here's Rio's story in his own words. So yeah, let's get into it. The name is Rio, 68, from Henderson, Nevada, spent most of my adult life supervising construction crews, commercial building.
Okay, this was a construction worker. He's retired, and he wanted to go to Thailand to retire. Okay.
Got lucky because others in the group was paying 700 plus for something like that in that area. Nice building, security, pool. But I was struggling with everything else. Where to get groceries was a bit far. Didn't know how to use the jeepneys. Didn't speak Tagalog beyond.
So he moved to the Philippines, and he got himself an apartment and everything, but he was kind of like had a disability because he was in a car accident, and he needed someone to help him with his chores.
Alamat and Magkano, and my leg was acting up from all the walking and heat. I needed help, real help, not just someone to clean once a week. So I posted in one of those expats in Manila Facebook groups, American retiree in Makati looking for maid. Cleaning, cooking, errands, 3 to 4 days per week. Reasonable pay. Got maybe 20 responses in an hour. Most were from agencies wanting to charge me monthly fees, but one message stood out. Personal messages she greeted me with, "Good day, sir," and said, her name is Clarita, 24 years old, living in Quezon City. She can clean, cook, do laundry, and can also help with shopping. Again, she's available Monday to Friday if I need, and charge just 450 pesos per day. Zid Suid. 450 pesos, about $8. Immediately I messaged her back, we set up a time, and she showed up the next Monday very early. She
Okay,
was
so
tiny, maybe
so
5
this
feet 1.
so this girl came to his apartment. He hired her 450. I think he said pesos a week. I think that's what he said. But she came over and she started cleaning for him and she started taking care of him. But this one things get interesting.
Who actually cared. But then little things started to change. She started asking about my day more. "Sir, how was your walk? Your leg okay? Sir, you look tired. You want me to make you tea?" She'd sit closer to me on the couch during movies. Not inappropriate, just close. Her shoulder touching mine, her laugh a little louder when I made jokes. One night in August, we were watching some action movie when she said, out of nowhere, "Sir Rio, can I ask you a personal question?" "Sure," I said, as always. "You ever get lonely, like lonely for someone?" I looked at her. "Sometimes. Why?"
That's the number one thing that retirees are. They're very lonely. And these type of women, what they do is they home in into that loneliness. I've talked about this so many times about loneliness can be a really, there's nothing wrong with being lonely, but you got to know how to handle it. You got to know how to be, you got to know how to, how can I say, don't allow yourself to be open or taken advantage of. You know, that's the first number one thing she said. You're lonely. She looked at him and said, I could tell. So she's setting him up already. She's reading him.
She shrugged and said, "Me too. It's hard being alone when you see everyone else with someone." "Yeah, it is." Then she said, "You have girlfriend before, in America?" "I was married for 23 years, but she left after my accident." I think I've said this earlier to her before, but maybe she didn't understand it all. At that moment, Clarita turned to look at me, her face soft with sympathy. "That's so sad, sir. You're such a good man. She should have stayed."
See, they
Life
very.
doesn't always work like that, you know. She then looked down at her hands. "My boyfriend left me too, 2 years ago. Said I was asking too much and not pretty enough. He wanted girl with money, with nice family." "That's his loss," I said. Little did I know that that guy dodged a bullet. But at that point she smiled, sad but genuine. "You really think so?" "Yeah, you're smart, hard-working, kind. Any guy would be lucky." She looked at me for a long.
You know the things that they say. They're very good at flattery. That's called flattery. That's another weapon they use. They flatter you. They flatter you with words. You know, they tell you how nice looking you are. They tell you how tall you are. They say you're such a nice guy. Why did she dump you? You know, that's what they're doing. That's their gateway of trying to get to you. Because the first time that she picked up that he was lonely. You know what I'm saying? She picked up that he was lonely, and then he said, "Yeah, I was lonely because my wife left me and did all this." Already, he's telling her too much about him. That's what I'm saying. It's really none of her business. Only thing you there for to clean. So just go in there and just do it. Like you said, Marcus, do your job.
Moment. Then she said, quietly, "You are different from other men, sir. You see people, not
There we
just what
go.
they
They say
see."
that. That's, yep.
And then,
Oh, you're
I don't know
different.
who moved first,
Mm-hmm.
but her hand found mine. I should have pulled away. Should have reminded her this was a professional arrangement. Should have kept the boundary clear. But I didn't, because for the first time in 3 years I felt wanted. Within 2 weeks, the second bedroom sat empty.
Eric, what's
It wasn't
up?
some
What's up?
dramatic seduction, no
Eric's in
grand
the house.
gesture, just a quiet, gradual shift. She'd fall asleep on the couch during movies,
Yep.
and I'd tell her to just sleep in my room instead of walking all the way to hers.
Mm-hmm.
Then she started leaving clothes in my closet.
Mm-hmm.
Then her toothbrush appeared next to mine. By September,
You see how she's setting them up? They very sneaky, like you said, Bruce. They're very sneaky. They're very, 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 very sneaky. Putting the toothbrush here, putting a little couple of clothes there. See, she's trying to fatten them up. She's getting them ready. That's what she's doing. Okay, it gets gooder. It gets gooder.
we weren't pretending anymore. She stopped calling me Sir Rio, just Rio. Sometimes Hon. Sometimes she'd kiss me on the cheek when I woke up,
Oh
bring me coffee
boy.
in bed, curl up next to me at night like we'd been together for years.
Oh
I
wow.
knew it looked bad. I knew what people would think. Old white guy, young Filipina maid, obvious power imbalance. But I didn't care, because for the first time since the accident, I felt alive again. She made me feel like I mattered, like I wasn't just some broken down old man waiting to die in a foreign country. She'd hold my hand when we walked through the malls, introduce me to her friends as her boyfriend, post photos of us on.
There you go. She's setting them up. She's setting them up. And what I'm trying to tell you, so many men fall for this. They fall for it. And the only thing she's doing, she's just acting. Acting. They're very good actors. Very good actors.
Facebook with heart emojis, and I ate it up, every bit of it. The spending started small. "Rio, my mom's roof is leaking. Maybe you can help? Just 50,000 pesos."
Right then and there, you should have left.
50,000 pesos. I sent it without thinking twice. "My sister needs new school uniform. 8,000 pesos. Done. "My cousin's motorcycle broke. He needs it for work. Maybe 60,000 pesos. I hesitated on that one. But Clarita looked at me with those big, sad eyes and said, He has 3 kids, Rio. If he can't work, they don't eat. And just like that, I sent it. By October,
Well, guess what? Before you got there, they were surviving. Why do we feel that we have to solve everybody else's problems? Way before you got to the Philippines, they was making a way. So how could they put all that on you that you gonna make a difference and make everything all right?
given her family over $5,000 for various emergencies. And I told myself it was fine. This is what you do when you care about someone. You help their family. That's part of the package. But then came the big ask. We were lying in bed one night in late October when she brought it up. Rio, can I tell you my dream?
Oh boy.
Sure. I want to build a house. Not big house, just small. For me and my mum. Somewhere outside Manila. It's quiet. Maybe Antipolo or Laguna. That sounds nice. You think... She hesitated. You think maybe we could do it together, like our house? I turned to look at her. Our house? Yeah, for our future. You don't want to rent forever, right?
You remember in the Philippines, you cannot own land. You can buy real estate, but you can't own land. And this is the biggest mistake that he's getting ready to make.
If we buy land, build small house, we can live there. Save money, no more rent. She made it sound so reasonable, so practical. I asked her, how much would that cost? She'd clearly thought about this. Land maybe 1.5 million pesos, building maybe 2 million, total about 3.5 million pesos. I did the math in my head. About $63,000 total. That's a lot of money, Clarita. I know, but Rio...
Why would you be discussing with somebody that you have 65,000 US dollars? That was dangerous what he did. She talked about building a house with, I mean, it's somebody that you don't even know. I'm just putting out a warning for retirees, man. Just be careful. Yeah, he should have seen it. But Bruce was really scary about this. Is that he's putting himself in danger. Because they do have militia groups in the Philippines. She could have made a focus. Oh, guess what? This guy got money. He could pull out $65,000 like a magician. He's giving her too much of, and that's dangerous. I thank God that he's physically okay. They could take him somewhere. They could take that Filipino girl. I'm not saying all the Filipino women or the people in the Philippines that way. Most of the people there are very nice people. I know a lot of Filipinos, very good people. So I'm not saying all of them that way. But I'm saying this is a very important danger that I'm trying to, I hope that you guys are listening to. Never tell your financial information to nobody, especially in a foreign country. Especially in a foreign country. Because she could have made a phone call right there and said, oh, wow, this guy, he got $65,000 he can pull right out. And sometimes it may not even be her. It could be somebody who she knows that she gives the information to. And then, stuff get around.
Think about it. We spend 35,000 every month on rent. That's 420,000 pesos a year. In 3 years, we spend more than the land costs. If we build, we have something forever. She wasn't wrong. The math made sense. But something in my gut hesitated. Let me think about it, I said. She kissed me. Okay, just think about it.
No, what you should have did was you should have fired her and kept on going. That's what you should have done.
But over the next 2 weeks, she brought it up constantly. showed me listings, took me to see plots of land on weekends, talked about where the kitchen would go, where we'd plant a garden, how peaceful it would be. And slowly I started to believe in the dream too. By November, I'd wired
Yeah, it was a
1.8
dream.
million pesos for land in Antipolo, about $32,000. The land was in her name, had to be, since foreigners can't own land in the Philippines.
You bought. You gave away $32,000 and you don't even own what you bought. That is crazy. I don't understand that. I do not understand that.
But she promised it was our land, for our future together. I believed her. Once the land was bought, the spending accelerated. December, 2.5 million pesos, $45,000 wired for constructing the house. January, another 800,000 pesos, $14,500 for materials that cost more than expected. February, 650,000 pesos, $11,800 for a car. I bought a used Toyota Vios, but she used it most of the time. She usually drove it to the construction site and check on progress. March, 400,000 pesos.
Wow, he bought her a car too.
$7,200 for furniture and appliances. Had to buy them early to get a good deal. April, 300,000 pesos, $5,400 for electrical problems that came up during construction. At this point, I didn't even bother asking too many questions because every time she had a reason, a good reason, and every time I sent the money. By May 2023, 1 year after arriving in Manila, I'd spent over $180,000 on the house and related costs. But here's the thing, I barely saw it. Every time I asked to visit the construction site with her, she had an excuse or the other. And note that
I went to the construction site anyway. I didn't. You didn't need her to go to the construction site to go see the house.
Seen it a few times though, and yes, it's the constructor that gave the prices, so it wasn't just from her mouth. Also, I trusted her. Why wouldn't I? She was sleeping in my bed every night, cooking my meals, taking care of me. We were building a life together, at least that's what I thought. By June, something had changed. Clarita wasn't around as much. She'd leave early in the morning, say she was checking on her mum. She got sick and her sister is not home to help her, and she'll come back late at night. Sometimes she wouldn't come back at all, said she was staying with her mum. When she was home, she was distracted, always on her phone, texting and smiling at the screen in ways she didn't smile at me anymore. Who are you texting? I asked one night. Just my friend, she said without looking up. Must be a funny friend. She glanced at me, irritated. Why? You jealous? No, Rio, I have my own life too. I can't just be with you 24/7. That stung, but I didn't push. The intimacy faded. She stopped sleeping in the same bed most nights, said she was tired, needed her own space. The second bedroom that had been empty for months suddenly had clothes in it again. Her toiletries moved back to the other bathroom.
Oh, she's starting to change on them now.
There was no big blow-up, and just a slow, quiet drift. By July, I barely saw her 3 times a week. And when I asked the constructor when we could move into the house, he'd say, soon, Rio, just a few more things to round up. Didn't go there as often as she does. I can even count how many times I've been there, but then I started to get suspicious. One afternoon, I called a Grab and rode out to Antipolo myself. Didn't tell her I was coming, and as for the car, I didn't think that's the best option because of my leg and the heavy traffic I'll likely face around Ortigas Avenue. Well, I eventually got there. The house was beautiful. 2 bedrooms, big windows, already tiled floors, exactly what everyone had described, her and the builder. But it wasn't empty. There were clothes hanging on a line outside, men's clothes, work boots by the door, a motorcycle parked under the carport. I stood there, heart pounding, trying to make sense of it. Then a guy walked out. Probably mid-20s, fit, shirtless, holding a can of Coke. He froze when he saw me. Who are you? He asked in English. I'm Rio. I own this house. And I asked him what he was doing there. He was stammering, and even he said, he is among the painters. He stays far away. That's why he slept here. Well, that was explainable, but I was suspicious. I said, okay, and left. It all aligned. I mean, the house wasn't painted yet. And also, workers do sleep on site. That's no big deal. I went back to the condo and waited. Clarita came home around later that evening, cheerful, humming some song. She stopped when she saw my face. She asked what was wrong. Told her I went to Antipolo today. Her face didn't change. Didn't even flinch. Okay. And how was it? Beautiful, right? I immediately just said, met your boyfriend. She went silent. Then she sighed. Not guilty, not apologetic, just tired, wasn't even trying to argue. And you know the worst part? I wasn't even sure it was her boyfriend, just fell something off and she didn't even care, and that's what's marveling me. She didn't deny it, just stood there, arms crossed. I asked her, why? Why did you do this? Because I needed the money, she said simply. My family needed help. Miguel couldn't afford to help. You could. So I worked for it. Worked for it? I thought... I couldn't even say it. I thought we were together. We were, kind of. I cared about you, Rio, I really did. But I also needed to take care of my future. And Miguel is my future. You... She looked at me, almost pitying.
So she built a house for her boyfriend. She built a house for her boyfriend. And then basically she left him. Left him. Took her stuff, took everything, and it cost him almost $180,000 mistake. $180,000 mistake. Just like that. Money gone. Just like that. But what's so sad about the whole situation that he got himself in the bind is that the house that he built is on her property. She owns the property, but he said that he owns the house. I think he said he owns the house. I don't know if they both of their names are on the house, but she's the only one that owns the property. So he really, that's a bad situation to be in, because if she owns the property and the house sits on the property, that means he can't do really nothing with the house. You know? So he's messed up, because the only thing he can do, let's say if he did move into that house, whatever, he would have to still pay, he would still have to lease the land. So he would always be indebted to her as long as he has that house sitting on that property, because foreigners cannot own property in the Philippines. Yeah, but that's sad though, because there's a lot of retirees. They go down there because, let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you this, let me get ready to close this live. You work too long and too hard to throw all your money away that way. It takes some of us 30 to 40 years of our lives working every day to save, to have a nest egg, and then to lose it all within a matter of months. That happens all the time. And that is a fleecing. All right. Thank you guys for coming on to the live tonight. Appreciate it. If you haven't yet, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel. Appreciate it. I have some more content coming to you guys later. I had some financial information I wanted to share with you all, but I didn't get a chance to do it on this live. I told you about my outpatient surgery procedure. I just want to say thank you all for your prayers and everything. Appreciate it, everybody. And no doubt I will see you guys on the next live, okay? Make sure you like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back soon. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you got something out of this live stream tonight. Peace. Thank you. Thank you.